We need to talk about Love is Blind because this season on Netflix is messy. There's drama, there's cheating, and a lot to dive into and for us to talk about. In this video, I'll get into Leo's love triangle, who cheated on who, and one of the most cringe scenes that I've ever seen on this show. Because why would we watch these shows if not to talk about the tea, pass some light judgment, and pretend we know what we're talking about? So let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm MadMorph, a full-time content creator, and this is my movie club where me and you can watch movies and TV together. Like and subscribe for more, and let's begin. If you didn't know, Love is Blind is one of Netflix's most popular dating shows. Singles can only hear each other, they can't see each other. You get to know each other from the other side of a wall, you date through this wall until one of you wants to propose to the other. The goal is to get engaged without ever seeing your person, which sounds insane, but somehow a bunch of people agree to this twice a year. We kick things off and Nick Lachey pretends that he doesn't know what a situationship is.
I've only ever been in a situationship.
Am I disordered? I've never heard the term situationship before.
And I get that he's probably just playing the I'm an out-of-touch boomer card, but why is he hosting 15 reality dating shows on Netflix if he doesn't know what a situationship is?
I'm learning so much.
But let's get straight into the mess and with the love triangle that everyone is talking about. At the top of this triangle you have Leo. He's a rich art dealer who says he'll never be sure whether people are with him just for his money or not.
One of my biggest insecurities is that a girl only wants me for money.
So this is the perfect opportunity for him to find out the truth.
I'm really fortunate to not have to worry about money at all.
Okay, never mind. He immediately tells everyone how rich he is and constantly brings it up to all the women just to make sure they know.
I have money.
Honestly, how he came about his money is kind of sad and really bizarre.
Grandpa got cancer, died. My grandma got cancer, died. My mom got cancer, died. My dad got cancer, and my stepdad got cancer, all in 3 years. And I'm an only child.
Are we sure that Leo's second name isn't Usher? Did this art dealer family deal in a cursed painting? What is going on here? Another point of this triangle is Nick Dorker.
I'll be your Taylor Swift, and you can be...
I could be the Travis Kelce.
You could be my Travis Kelce.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit better looking than Travis, but...
Henry Cavill. He's hot, but he's also he builds computers.
I kind of look like him.
The girls call him Mr. Suave because they aren't sure if he's an F-boy or if he's the real deal.
Describe your outfit. What are you wearing?
And finally, Hannah, a quirky, bossy type with issues of her own that we'll get into later. Side note, the triangle is more of a square because Leo is keeping Brittany cooking on the side.
Anytime I have to do something painful, I just imagine my mom dying and how painful that must have been.
Whoa.
Leo literally cannot make his mind up, and he also can't keep his mouth shut, spitting gems like...
I swear to God, you're both number one.
We're both number one.
Yes.
He really does not know how to handle Brittany, he's not ready for this brat energy, and he doesn't know how to tell her what she wants to hear. But on the other hand, Nick knows exactly the right things to say to Hannah.
I'm wearing my glasses.
Oh, your glasses.
I am.
You got the sexy librarian look. I would love to take you out right now and show you off.
Well, mostly because this is 2024 and being this smooth is not a superpower. It's now a red flag.
How are you still talking to him?
Because he's charming.
And he has got me charmed.
I just think of the love of my life.
Yeah, that man is not the love of your life.
All the girls try to basically say to Hannah, girl run, and Hannah gets to the point where she even breaks things off with Nick.
I don't think you have trouble finding someone in the real world because guys like you are the ones who like me in the real world. They're never interested in me. I am just hot to them.
That sucks to hear because I saw myself leaving here with you. I hope the rest of your dates go well, and I hope you find the right person for you.
Meanwhile, Leo just keeps putting his foot in it, and Brittany is getting a little annoyed.
It's important that I know what type of rings you like.
I will only tell you if you only are asking one person.
I was gonna bring it up with both of you or none of you.
Why both or none? That makes no sense to me.
Brittany is 100% the type of woman by her own admission that needs to be put first and needs to be taken care of. She's dated rock stars and the rich and the famous, so she claims. But with that comes the curse of the knowledge that all of her chosen mates have had many other dates and options because they're so amazing. This seems to have left her with some issues, and obviously when it comes to getting married, she wants to be put first for once, and rightly so. Hannah to Brittany's rescue because she's about to make up Leo's mind for him because she's changed her mind on Nick. She's called him back for another date, and now they are each other's number one. She tells Leo.
And I think this the other guy I'm seeing, I just think, I love that man.
Let's go ahead and remember how Nick took being dumped by Hannah.
I hope the rest of your dates go well.
And compare it to this.
Have you made up your mind?
Oh my God.
Hannah, felt like
I don't know up from down, like he has been sure.
Is he the best person for you, or is he just the first person to tell you I love you?
It's like really confusing and I'm just, this is horrible.
I know, but it's hard. What would you say if I asked you to marry me right now? What would you say?
Oh my God.
Hannah eventually leaves the room sobbing, saying she needs to sleep.
I think I just need some sleep.
But once she's calmed down, she sees Leo for what he is. She tells Brittany about it and then tells Leo that it's over and she's choosing Nick.
Nick is better for you.
And I know that.
It's true.
I've known that this whole entire time.
That's exactly how I feel about Brittany.
What's funny is at this point, Leo seems to be making out like it's a mutual breakup, and he begs her to tell Brittany that it was mutual and how much he loves her.
I told the producers in the morning to cancel our date.
That's not what you told me last night.
But Hannah is having none of it and calls him out on it and also tells Brittany. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if the girls on this show aren't colorblind because they don't seem to be able to see red. Nick and Hannah get engaged, Leo and Brittany get engaged, and the cracks appear immediately.
Way to embarrass me by being taller than me.
In the pause, he described himself as like a football player, like 5'11". What he said, I don't think was really truthful.
Hannah is, some would say legitimately, far from impressed by Nick.
I'm like a foot taller than him.
And if this clip didn't say it all, where Nick looks back hoping to catch her looking back at him, and she doesn't look back once. Meanwhile, Leo and Brittany are revealed to each other, and this might be one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've seen on reality TV for quite some time.
How does it feel to be engaged?
She looks legit terrified anytime he gets close or goes in for the kiss. And this hand on the back of the neck, I guarantee he read this in some kind of How to Pick Up Girls ebook because it comes off as just so unnatural and unsettling. Amidst constantly shifting himself closer to her awkwardly, he asks her what she loves about him, and she says,
Oh, this is so much pressure.
I'm already crying.
This is definitely one of the most awkward moments in my life. Oh God, what have I done?
Meanwhile, the other reveals and engagements all seem to go okay. The only things of worth to talk about are the two geeks who find each other, but he almost fumbles this baddie by getting weirded out by not knowing her ethnicity yet.
My mom's first name, I think it gives away part of like how I look, like my ethnicity.
I have to admit, like, I've dated white girls. That's all I've ever dated. It is a new feeling for me. I'm not sure what that looks like for me either, like going for, like, it's just a shock. I mean, it's really hard to explain. It's also like, what's she hiding?
This was really strange. I get that he's like, oh, I've only dated white girls before, but up to this point, these two have been getting on more than anyone. They are both total geeks, and they've been giggling and doing science jokes through the wall, but suddenly he's like, whoa, hold up, you're not white? I don't know, am I crazy for thinking this was a really strange reaction from him? Let me know in a comment. Speaking of ethnicity, the palest man in the process did a DNA test.
Most of it is Nigerian, Congolese,
Wow.
a lot of West Africa. I've identified as white my whole life.
Well, that's interesting.
Once I found out, of course, I immediately found some books and started looking into Ghanaian and Nigerian cultures.
Listen, it's cute that he's taking this as a learning opportunity and a teachable moment and enjoying finding out about other cultures. I'm not going to make fun of that, but boy do I want to. I don't know enough about these DNA tests to know if he has a legitimate claim to being African here, but I feel like when those DNA tests were peaking, just everyone was like, oh my god, I'm Irish, oh my god, I'm African, oh my god, I'm Native American, and suddenly claiming cultures for themselves that have nothing to do with them. Personally, to me, make of this what you will, but unless you have a parent or a grandparent who is of that race, ethnicity, or culture, it's got very little to do with you. Dear viewer, please do feel free to romanticize that 5% on your DNA test. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's just the way that he put it over, like he suddenly decided he was African and gonna learn all about it, that just kind of made me laugh. You know, it's harmless, but it's funny.
I technically hold the title of being a cheater.
He also confessed to having an emotional affair sliding into another girl's DMs during his last relationship.
Slid into a girl's DMs like a dumbass.
I'm sure this won't come back into play later on. It's time to move to the next phase of the show where the couples go on honeymoon together, but first we need to talk about the fact that Leo and Brittany are not selected to go. It's actually really common for more people to get coupled up than what we see represented on the show. Of course, with reality TV, there is always an element of production and them picking who will make for a good show. But I find it very hard to believe that this production team didn't want to follow the absolute cringe gold that is Brittio. The production team have claimed they didn't have faith that this couple were going to make it to the end and say I do. I mean, clearly that is true, but I don't buy that suddenly reality TV producers are more interested in creating actual romance than they are a compelling TV show. So you might think that perhaps off-air Brittany said, "Get me out of this situation." That sounds like a plausible reason, right? Considering her reaction. But actually, her and Leo went to Miami themselves after not being chosen for the show. They organized their own honeymoon to hang out together and to see if it worked. It didn't, and they broke up. So what really happened, and why weren't they picked to be on the show? Here's my personal theory, which is founded on absolutely nothing. In recent years, Love is Blind has found itself in hot water over contestants that were later accused of acting inappropriately with their partner. I think production doesn't want this heat. They could see the red flags that Leo was exhibiting. This is not me labeling him as a bad guy, but the emotional reaction to Hannah, making her cry, the really odd sofa scene with Brittany, the body language here is so off. Just take another look at this interaction here. The way he tried to lay Brittany back, and she's a total pro here and pulls the girl Jitsu to seamlessly regain top position to avoid being pinned to the sofa, while she maintains the "oh my god, please don't hurt me" smile and a flawless performance on her part. But I honestly think the producers thought, listen, if we put these guys in the show, it's going to be car crash TV and it'll be amazing, but we might get some serious heat if there's an incident, so let's just nip it in the bud. I am by no means calling Leo a predator or dangerous. I just think they saw how awkward this was and decided to move on before it had the potential to become something else. Am I crazy? Probably. Does that mean I'm wrong? Probably not. So let's move on. Everyone goes on the honeymoon together, and honestly this part of the show is pretty boring, as it often is, so let's fly through the things that are worth talking about.
To be more comfy. Or should I stay in this?
Hannah gets the ick for Nick, as if she hadn't already, because he straddled these beach decorations and raced with another lady on them. The whole time you could just see the way this was going to go, and you're like, Nick, please don't do that, but honestly all of this says more about Hannah than it does Nick. Especially when later at the party, she totally embellishes the story to make him look worse.
The girl was like, "Oh, looks like your girl's just a jealous little bitch." Yeah, and Nick just laughed.
They also spend some time in the pool together, and Hannah has a lot to say about Nick's body, his build, and the fact that she usually dates the most handsome guy in the room.
When I first met Nick during the reveal, it was shocking. Look-wise, like I definitely go for like the really big, like 6'5", handsome, best looking guy in the room.
Yes, this is kind of wild when in the pods she was the one worrying about her looking good enough for Nick. She kept saying things like, he's the kind of guy that I can't have no makeup on around, or if I put on some weight he'll probably not like me anymore. Hannah clearly has some issues with how she sees herself, how she perceives others seeing her, and thus projects that onto those around her and who she's in a relationship with. And that's pretty sad, right? But maybe Nick is the guy to convince her otherwise. Time will tell. We'll come back to this one because there is a lot more to say. Pale Steven can't shut up, and it's only going to get worse from here on out.
Because all it does is sort of...
I love you to death. I'm obsessed
Am I
with
being
you.
chatty again?
Literally cannot get a word in.
You really should let your partner ramble on, especially when they've had a drink. If you choose a partner who is particularly verbose, then be aware what you're getting into. But with some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth later, I can see why she's starting to tell him to shut up. The next crack for this couple appears when they're hanging out, and she brings up the issue of flowers being bought.
In the pods, I remember you specifically telling me, like, we're together, like, I'm gonna get you flowers.
I was using that as a concept.
It's not about the flowers.
No, it's about...
It's just about making me feel special. You know the love languages. You know I'm a big words of affirmation, acts of service person, but my third one is gifts.
I did find it a bit rich that she said gift giving and receiving was her third love language. So, I mean, if the first two are taken care of, we should be okay. But this just continues to get worse.
So it's like I know I don't have to get you top quality, like a Kate Spade bag. So
I'll never get you one of those.
something...
I don't want to sound materialistic, but I also want, like, to
feel
feel special.
Yeah.
But I also am who I am. Like, I also want flowers sometimes.
I really don't want to disappoint you. It's a lot.
You okay?
I'm listening.
No, I thought you were, like, about to cry. Are you okay?
I mean, I'm listening. I appreciate you.
The passive-aggressiveness goes into a new territory this evening when there's a fireworks show and he didn't go to watch them with her.
Steven, look.
I'm gonna come.
Steven tries to claim that Garrett needed to talk to him about something and he wanted to let him get it out.
That was so romantic.
So romantic out there.
I'm sorry. Are you good?
It's playing. He's so scared of me. He's so scared of me right now.
Let's be real, she's not expressing her emotions in a healthy way here, and she revels in the fact, I think, that he's scared of her. I'm slightly on his side with this one until he starts talking about this.
where like if you make it on the show, there are women that are homewreckers out there that are like, I want to suck your dick.
Sorry.
You know, you're fine.
What's happening?
I'll feed you baby bird. I'll bring it home.
You're gonna get your dick sucked by a woman?
No.
Super weird to bring up, but bringing up super weird things is Stephen's superpower. Just you wait.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm kind of annoyed.
Marissa and Ramses get into it over dinner because Marissa is formerly military and Ramses is progressive lefty with very little sympathy for people who have served America.
What we do in other countries, I don't support. Where we've bullied other countries,
Right.
and like we've gone into other countries, we've destroyed countries. I am very critical of it. It's just that I support the troops, and what they sign up to do is not easy, and so I support.
But they sign
them.
up for it.
We do sign up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, listen, I'm no fan of the military-industrial complex, but Ramses is coming off really poorly here to me.
It's so nuanced. It's a job to some people.
Again, but they're signing up for this, baby.
No, I didn't sign up to go kill people, even though I technically did join the military.
It's the military, babe.
A lot of kids sign up at the age of like 18, and like,
Yeah.
I don't think we really understand like what we're signing up for when we do it.
Okay.
This is your chosen partner. I think Marissa did really well to back herself while also discussing the moral implications of her military past.
I'm feeling judged. And
Are you?
I'm feeling judged.
It's a hot topic, I get it, and actually most people seem to be loving him online for this approach and the things that he brought up. It's great that these kinds of conversations are getting visibility, and I loved seeing a debate with some real life weight on this show. Meanwhile, we find out Nick lives at home in his parents' basement, and it's just getting better and better for Hannah, isn't it? There's no chance she says yes to this guy. And we get a really heartfelt moment, since everything's been quite negative so far, with Tim asking Alexandra's dad for her hand in marriage.
I'm in the end of my thoughts. We just met. But I believe in you. I believe that came from your heart. I accept you as my son.
Thank you, sir.
But we're not here for that, so let's get straight back to the mess, because this is where things start to get, as Kendall from Love Island would say, nasty.
Talk to me. Tell me, hey, a little less of that, a little more of these.
A little less butt stabs.
Accident.
Monica has been unsure of Stephen since he expressed not really being all in or 100% sure about the marriage, so they haven't been sleeping together anymore. Fair enough, that makes perfect sense, but Stephen keeps talking about it.
I'm a man. You know, the wind blows in the right direction, and I'm like, fuck.
Saying I'm a man should never be an excuse for anything when it comes to controlling yourself or needing to get your rocks off. If you feel that way, or you want to talk nonsense about blue balls or needing to be serviced by your partner, please grow up and discover that there is more to life. But what happens next gets even worse, as she finds texts on his phone that he's been messaging another woman, and it's been filthy.
Reading those text messages filled with fetishes and coming in, like, it's disgusting, Stephen.
You're right.
So yes, the guy who said this
Slid into a girl's DMs like a dumbass.
was up to his old tricks, and it's another reminder that when people show you who they are, believe them.
Were you at a sleep test last night?
Yeah. I did make a completely stupid mistake while being drunk at a sleep test with somebody who texted me.
He was messaging a girl on the side, and Monica later said in an interview that she scrolled up and saw that these texts started way before the show. So this is clearly some ongoing side thing he has, where it's just the constant kind of filthy chat and so on in the messages. I guess he forgot to end things before going on a show where you're supposed to get married.
Before you leave, I would like you to Venmo me the money you owe me for me carrying your weight the last couple days. Wouldn't mind taking out your phone now to send me the Venmo.
I'm sorry for hurting you, for wasting your time, for coming on this show.
I'm like, it's just like taking that away from me.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I definitely don't deserve much. I am sorry. I will leave you alone now.
Stephen is clearly a really flawed character with a lot of work to do. He's admitted this in interviews since. Him repeating the same mistakes of the past should be a real wake-up call that he has got a problem and he needs to work out where it's coming from. For me, analysing this couple before this incident really felt like Stephen was a people-pleaser with many anxious attachments. The tragedy of being a people-pleaser is that nobody is ever actually pleased with you, and you start to resent them because you are always moulding yourself to be what you think the other person wants you to be, and we could really see that happening with Stephen. In his mind, I'm sure he's already rationalized this out in terms of, well, she wasn't giving me what I want, I didn't feel heard in this relationship, so I had to go elsewhere to feel like a man. But this is not Monica's problem. That is a Steven problem and something that he has to work out. He has said in interviews that he is in therapy for this, and I wish him all the best. And it's not the kind of messy ending that Steven would have wanted, but the couple ends messily nonetheless, with Monica pretty much ending things and Steven exiting the process. Elsewhere, Hannah finds out to add to her list for Nick. I mean, she literally had a list when they were on the honeymoon of things that she liked and didn't like about him, and now she can add to that he's financially illiterate.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're 28 years old. I've been on my own since I'm 18, so I can teach you.
Do you know about sports?
No, but
Okay, well,
money, sports, you know. Does watching sports make you more financially successful?
I don't think stocks does.
But when they hang out with Hannah's family, her own family call her out for being a bit tough.
Not gonna grill him or what?
I think you've grilled him plenty.
I'm not sure what the point of grilling him is now.
I feel like I
But
should
it's
be
what you
like
put into it.
more in love and having fun.
It's me, I know. It's mine. It's not him. He seems pretty relaxed. You are like,
am I really?
Yeah, bad.
And listen, I have to say, Hannah has been getting quite a bit of hate in her comments for how she was on this show and how she treated Nick. People saying, oh, you talked about your own body a lot, but then picked on his. And it's almost like people don't understand that whenever you say something about someone else, it really says more about you. Projection is very real, and it happens a lot more than you think. But I like her. This woman is 26, she's got her life together, she knows what she wants, she knows what to do with her money, and she is setting a high standard for her expectations in a partner. She herself admits on the show that she might be too hard on him and expecting everyone to be at her level too quickly. She says this is something she's got to work on. This idea that she should be quiet and be happy with the man who he is, living in his parents' basement, financially illiterate, doesn't know how to boil water for pasta, is just silly. Like, why shouldn't a woman expect more from a man? Stop allowing for weaponized incompetence, whether it's from the man or the woman in the relationship, and start supporting each other to get better as people. Nick's 2 years older than her, he's got a little bit of growing up still to do, maybe they can do it together, there's nothing wrong with that. It's an interesting dynamic, these two. I don't think they're going to make it, but honestly, if Hannah stuck with it and Nick worked hard on himself and kind of seems to be open to listening to her so far and learning from her, they could be a great couple. Who knows, maybe they'll surprise us all. We jump over to Marissa and Ramses, and he's getting dragged by Marissa's mother, saying that his fashion style is from the 80s while wearing this jacket is crazy.
Is it on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm not feeling it. The whole 80s breakdancing and the Jerry curl look from the 80s.
Not a fan?
I will say I am glad for Marissa and Ramses on the show because we're getting some very real conversations and topics out of them.
I will just tell you, you hurt my daughter. I will cut your balls off.
And this time it's about birth control. Marissa does not want to go back on birth control, and I get it. It can really mess with your body, your mind. People often don't realize the massive impact it's having on them until they come off it for a few months, but Ramses' response shocks everyone.
Do you enjoy condom sex?
Yeah.
Really?
Some of my best sex has been on a condom.
Huh, okay.
I think we could definitely have condom sex and it'd be fine. How do you feel about that? Babe, this is bad.
Isn't it funny how it's sometimes the most progressive guys who proclaim to be all about women's rights and body autonomy until it directly affects them and their pleasure?
Okay, cool. So we can disagree to have condom sex from here on out.
It's not really enjoyable, baby.
Marissa's stance is that she doesn't mind getting pregnant, so if Ramses doesn't want kids yet, he needs to wrap it up. And he just doesn't seem to be down for that.
Sex is supposed to be like mutually enjoyable. It's not something that guys, ever have the pressure to having to think about.
Yeah, well, here's the pressure. I'm not gonna go on birth control.
We need to do what we need to do, but I need the sex to be enjoyable.
This is all too common, and I would have liked to have seen him being more open, discussing other options, forms of contraception that they could try. It just seemed very selfish for me. What did you think? Again, I like this couple. I like that we're getting to have kind of very real conversations as a result of them coming on here and being themselves and being honest with their expectations, but I don't think Ramses covered himself in glory on this one either. And then, right at the end, to cap it all off, to remind you that whilst love might be blind, you also love being single for a reason, Tyler drops the bombshell that he has 3 kids already and hasn't told his partner about it.
I'm not upset by
you trying to help a couple have kids. The issue comes in with me feeling like I was not getting the full picture of you.
Now, it turns out that this isn't as bad as it sounds, because he helped a couple conceive and he has nothing to do with the kids. He was a donor, but it's of course alarming to Ashley that he didn't tell her about it.
I would love to marry you. I do want a family with you. If you need your space, you got your space. I'll get you whatever you need to feel comfortable and safe. At the end of the day, like I said, I respect you and I want you to be happy. Even if you tell me that like I've thought about it and my happiness isn't with you, I'll fight until you tell me to stop fighting.
Can they survive? Will the other couples make it down the aisle and say I do? The next batch of episodes drops in the near future, so let me know in a comment if you would like to see me cover that too. In the meantime, check out one of those other videos on the screen. I've got my full breakdown and review of Singles Inferno and some movie explains. I've been MadMorph and this has been my movie club, so like and subscribe for more, or check out my links in the description. I've got a podcast where I read audiobooks to you to help you sleep. It's available on Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere you get podcasts, and I have a gaming channel. You can find everything that you need in the description for this video. Until next time, thank you for watching, and good night.